So a couple of weeks back, I made this video on vermicasting or how to build a vermicasting system. And now I'm diving into the theory of it. So now that we have seen the practice, let's try to understand more in depth what is going on inside the bin so that we can be better managers of the systems. The main component of vermicasting is the red wiggler, the worm that is actually doing the job of converting the organic matter into vermicasting, the products that you want. So today we're going to see what is the life cycle and the stages of life of the red wigglers.
The life of a red wiggler. There are 4 stages, as you can see here. So basically, there's the cocoon stage, where the worm is still an egg. Then it hatches, then it goes into the juvenile stage, where the worm is a baby worm. And then it grows up and enters the mature stage, and finally enter the mating stage, where it reproduces and creates again a cocoon, and the cycle repeats itself. So we're going to dive into the details of each of these stages. So let's start with the cocoon stage. The first stage in the life of a red wiggler, the stage 1, the cocoon stage. We're going to review a mind map describing to us what is going on in this stage, as well as, the information that is important to know. So first, the incubation period. So what is that? It's basically how long the stage will last and how long it takes for an egg to be, produced and to reach from production of the egg until the egg hatch and the worm move to the next phase of its life. So this incubation period lasts from 23 to 30 days. Next, we'll have the size of the egg, which is like the same size of a grape seed and is golden yellow at the beginning, but as time passes, it turns maroon. The shape of it is lemon-like, so again, that's the shape of the egg. And the incubation capacity of one egg is around 4 to 6 baby worms per cocoon. The egg will be located near the bedding surface of your system, so when you open your vermicomposting bin, you can see the eggs at the surface. So that's good to know that the worm started reproducing, and you will have new worms coming in and eating all of your food scraps and giving you nice vermicastings. So to hatch, the egg needs first to be maroon. That means it's at the end of the incubation time, but there are also some conditions, and it's mainly the temperature, because worm likes warm temperature, and that's when they will be the most active, and this is between 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 to 30 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty much it for the first stage of the red wigglers, the cocoon stage, and now let's dive in the next stage. The second stage, the juvenile stage. So the worm went through the cocoon stage, the incubation period reached an end, the egg hatched, and now the worm is a baby worm in the juvenile stage. So let's get into it. So at that point, the size of the worm is of a length of around 1.2 centimeter or half an inch, and its width is around 4 human hair put next to each other. So it's still really small. Its color is, it's basically transparent. So when you look at it, it's like a transparent thread roaming around. Its behavior is eating. So as soon as it gets out of the egg, the worm starts eating organic matter. So it doesn't matter if it's an adult or a baby, they will eat your food scraps and make vermicasting. So that's pretty cool. The growth time is around 40 to 60 days. So that's also the length of this stage, the time it will take for the worm to grow up. And the characteristics of the worm as it grows up will be a darkening color, the development of clear segments, and the most important is the development of the clitellum, which is the worm's reproductive organs. So once this clitellum is developed, that will mean that the worm is ready to go into the next phase, which is the mature phase, so after around 40 to 60 days. So now let's go into this third stage, which is the mature stage. So what's going on here? So the activity period of the worms during that stage and other stage is usually warm seasons. We saw before that worms like warm temperatures. For example, that's one of the conditions for the egg to hatch. Well, that's when they are the most active. So mainly, most of the important things they will do will be in these warm temperatures. So the consumption, so red wigglers eating machines, so they love to eat fruits, vegetables, leaf litter, shredded paper, and cardboard, and they can eat up to half their body weight per day. So now we can understand why they're so popular in vermicomposting, because all of these will then become vermicasting, which is good stuff for your garden and your plants. Plants love that. So in the mature stage, the clitellum is developed, so the reproductive organs, and now they can start having sexual activity. So that will create new baby worms. So the conditions for that is they need to have space and they need to have food. So space is basically the size of your vermicomposting system, if they're in a system like that, and food is how much food you give them. And finally, again, the warm temperature, so they like having things warm. So the sign of sexual activity is the clitellum turn orange. So they have the clitellum in the mature stage, but until the conditions are adequate, they won't do anything. You will know when they start doing things when this clitellum turns orange. Now, the final stage, the worms are mature, the conditions are right, and they go into the mating stage, which will allow to close the cycle and create new baby worms for your nice vermicomposting system. So, mating stage. The reproductive organs of a red wiggler are hermaphrodite. So that means that one worm has both the male and female organs. The conditions for the mating stage to activate is again the temperature, and although they have hermaphrodite organs, or they are hermaphrodite, they still need one partner to reproduce, and this reproduction will happen by the two worms joining their clitellum and having their head pointing in the opposite direction. After they detach, this will fertilize the eggs, and then this clitellum will detach itself from the worm and form a cocoon. So this little reproduction cycle can create up to 2 cocoons per week, which explains how flexible their population is. They can actually grow really fast, but they will stop again with the 2 conditions we saw before. The population will stop growing depending on how much food is available and how much space is available. And again, you will know that this mating stage is going on when the clitellum turned orange.
So this is it for the life cycle of the red wigglers. I will make other videos on the theory aspects of these worms and of different vermicomposting system, and at the same time I will keep on making other guides so that we can put in practice this information that we learn in the theory focused videos into the reality, because this is the goal. Knowledge that is not used is useless. So we should definitely take that and use that and make a change in our lives and around us. So let me know if it was clear and concise enough so that you can easily understand the material, and if you like the format, so these dynamic mind maps and the illustrations. So if the video provided value to you, leave a like, subscribe to follow along in the journey, and I wish you a good rest of your day. Cheers.